Hey guys, welcome to another long-awaited, long-neglected vinyl update. It's been a while. I had this gap in time where I just wasn't buying any more records. Um, had to budget my money a little better, put money towards different things. And over the time, more records have come in. It's just been at a much slower frequency than before. But I have acquired a few records, so I could definitely do a couple updates, probably at least 3, this one included. So I'm gonna do those, and hopefully it just keeps going. I've been getting more frequently now. Um, but yeah, I want to talk about these. First off, you notice it's a different location. Same apartment that you guys saw me in last time. It's been almost a year since that video, which is insane. But my records are now up on this shelf, which is kind of in my dining area. We have game nights at this table, so it's nice that the records are behind us. But primarily, it's to keep the new dog away from the records because she was being very nosy and enough to strike some concern. So I moved him up, and I actually kind of like having it at this level. I wish my turntable was lower, but there's really no other place to put it. But yeah, anyways, let's get right into these records. I got a lot to talk about. Most of these are still from 2016 purchases, even though we're in 2017. Not most of these, actually, only a couple are. First up, we have Secret Space, The Window Room. One of my favorites from last year. This is kind of like alternative, indie rock. Reminds me of bands like Better Off, which I showed you guys in a previous video, the one with the sandwich on the cover, and Balance and Composure. So if you like that kind of music, you'll probably like these guys. And I listened to them just because of some random advertisement I saw online, and I was like, oh, I'll check them out. Here's the lyric sheet. And I actually really liked them. I really fell in love with this record. It's a really solid record. Comes on white vinyl. Very nice. And by the way, cut myself off here real quick, but these sleeves, it did not come in these sleeves originally. All my records now have these anti-static sleeves. So you'll see these. None of them came with those sleeves. I have replaced the sleeves myself. But anyway, this record's just really good, really catchy. My favorite song has to be Beyond the Display. Just has this really powerful chorus that just kind of like really kicks in there. I don't know how to describe it, you just gotta listen to it yourself. But it's just really catchy from the first song, which is PXCZ. I just say Pieces, I don't know why. And then, The Window Room's really good. Cast Iron's probably my second favorite. This record's really, really solid. One of my favorites from last year. Definitely made the top 10. I think it was even in my top 5. I did a top 50 on Instagram. I'm going to put the hashtag for it in the description so that you guys can maybe look it up if you're interested. See what I picked for my top 50 of 2016. But this was definitely on there. Really solid record. Speaking of Balancing Composure, we have Balancing Composure's The Things We Think We're Missing. Awesome record. Got into this record about the same time as I got into Secret Space. It's not a new release, it is older. The band did put out a new record in 2016 after this one. That's also really good, but not nearly as good as this one. I listened to this record quite a lot when I first got into it. It's a really, really good record. My favorite track is probably Back of Your Head, which is the third track on the record. Tiny Raindrop is another really solid one that a lot of people probably like a lot. It's just a really good record. This is the original sleeve that the record came in. It's one of those printed sleeves. I don't really like using printed sleeves because although I loved having the extra artwork, when you slide the records inside, they sometimes slide up against the edge, and since it's just paper, it starts to rip. I don't like that at all. Plus, these are better. They don't scratch the records. They reduce static. But this came on translucent red, one of the very many different variants out there. Shortly after receiving this record, I ended up seeing these guys live with Foxing. I believe Foxing was opening up for them. It was a really good show. It was definitely a really good show. They played a lot of my favorites on here. Interesting enough about my copy of this record is that the gatefold doesn't line up. It's raised over here and tucked in over here. It's not straight. The spine looks really good. It doesn't line up. It must have been cut wrong or something. It's really weird. Just thought that was interesting. And I think at that point is when I had my long break of where I wasn't buying records for a while. And it wasn't until this came in that I really started picking up the collection again. And this is the 10-year anniversary deluxe edition of On Letting Go by Circa Survive. I had pre-ordered this for months, and to be honest, by the time it arrived, I had kind of forgotten I pre-ordered it. But they did this for Circa Survive's first album, Juturna, and it was a really great set, and this one's a really great set too. I do like Juturna a bit more than I like On Letting Go, but both are really phenomenal records. This is the 3 LP set. I showed you guys the tri-gatefold. I think Juturna also did a better job on that, had a lot more artwork going on. But yeah, this is really sweet. It's a 3 LP. On the first LP you have the actual studio recording of the record on a purple blue smash with some black splatter thrown in there. The second LP is the demos of the record, so like the older recordings of the same songs on a white and blue smash. Very cool. And then the third LP, which is probably my favorite of the 3 as far as visuals look, you have red and gray, which looks really sweet. And there's actually an etching on this blank side here because this LP only has like 5 tracks. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but it is the blimp on the cover of the record. Or not blimp, hot air balloon, human hybrid thing. Anyways, really glad to finally own this in my collection. It's just one of those records that otherwise, without this repress, was just way too expensive for me to ever hope to get. So really glad to have it. I really hope they do this with Blue Sky Noise and continuing on. That'd be another record that I'd be really happy to have in my collection. Moving on, we have Galactic Empire, their self-titled release. For those of you guys who don't know about this band, this is a Star Wars soundtrack cover band, and they pretty much make the Star Wars soundtrack and turn it into metal. And it's really freaking cool. They've had videos online of the Imperial March and the main theme for a while now, and they're finally releasing the full record out in 2017. And I never took them serious. I saw the videos. It's cool. They're all dressed up like Darth Vader's the lead guitarist. Boba Fett's on the drums. They got like a stormtrooper in the Royal Guard. And I thought it was cool, but I didn't take it seriously. I didn't know it was a serious project, but it is. And this record is crazy. When I heard this record, I knew I had to get it. Being a huge Star Wars fan, there's the insert with the artwork and credits. Being a huge Star Wars fan, it was just a no-brainer. When I heard Duel of the Fates, which is the Darth Maul battle scene, it's incredible. But my favorite song on here has to be Battle of the Heroes, which is Anakin versus Obi-Wan, their duel that they did, the music behind that. These guys just killed it. It's incredible. Record's on orange with a darker orange splatter on there. I don't know how well you guys this is going to translate onto the video as far as seeing that splatter goes. But it's orange on orange. It looks pretty cool. And actually mine has like a factory defect. I don't know, you guys aren't going to be able to see from this far, but the top corner here is all cut all sorts of wrong. There's like a piece sticking out. It's really gnarly. It doesn't affect the grooves at all, because it's just on the outside ring. So I didn't bother sending it back, but it's definitely interesting to see that. The last video we're going to talk about, we have Gallant. Ology, I believe is the pronunciation of it, and this is just a really awesome record from last year. Did not make the top 10. I believe it was definitely in the top 20, maybe even the top 15. But really solid R&B soul record. Just this guy, his voice is really killer too. My favorite song on here is Bone and Tissue, but there's several other good ones such as Talking to Myself, Shotgun, Pergogesic. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but really all solid songs. Yeah, man, I really like this record a lot. It probably, in hindsight, it probably would have made the top 10. I think if I would have rearranged it, because I have listened to it a lot more since its release, since I did that top 50 list, because this was a late entry also into that list. Though the album came out early in the year, I didn't hear it until December when I was creating the list. So I had to throw it in there somewhere, and I think it just kind of landed around the 15th place mark, somewhere in there. But yeah, really good record. Check it out if you haven't. That's Gallant. Alright guys, that's it for this updates. Those were the next 5. I got more coming, like I said, at least 2 more updates. And then, you know I keep saying this, but hopefully do some other stuff, something else to keep the videos coming. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stick around, more to come.